Hello, welcome to my presentation for the final project of the class Visual Analytics. In this project, I use R Shiny made an interactive application to help pharmacists work. The presentation are divided into 5 parts. Let's begin with the first one, background. Okay, the first things you need to know is the pharmacist shift is so complicated. This application designed for the pharmacists who work in the hospital in China. And in China, there are two kinds of pharmacists, pattern pharmacists and the Chinese medicine pharmacist. Someone can do both, but for some elderly pharmacists, they only can do one. Because they work at the hospital, so they need to support the work for the 3 departments, outpatient, inpatient, and emergency room. For the daily work, they also have several duties, and because of the work intensity of the duty are different, so they have different shift times. Especially for the emergency room, they have the night shift. Although their shifts are very complicated, but they still use the paper file like that. So that is one pharmacist work schedule in 1 week in April. At the beginning of the month, they will receive the 4 paper like that with their work schedule. And if they have the requirement to change some shift with others, so first they need to ask other people one by one, and the second they need to add some marks on the paper by themselves. To finish this application, I have to simulate the dataset because the manager refused to share that with me. Okay, so first I made a duty list with the duty and the specific work shift. Based on the duty list, I designed the simulate dataset with the name, the date, the duty, and the work time for that shift. So that is the background of this application and the dataset. The next part of this presentation is go through the human-centered design thinking process. The first step is emphasize. So in that step, it contains 3 strategies. The first one is observing. I observe their paperwork and the scenario they will use the paperwork, and then talk with them to dig more detail in their work. And then I assume I'm a pharmacist and I will use an application I designed and also discuss the detail with the classmates. Here are some important finds I dig from this process. So first, they need a monthly calendar with the detail. And then they want to figure out the duty with the color or other way. And the second, that is the most important part because it's too difficult to them to find some available man to change the shift with them. So they want to use some filter to check others' work schedule. The second step of the human-centered design thinking is define the task. There are 3 strategies used here. The first lists the unorganized observations, and then sort the list into the need or insight. And the next step is to build a why or how ladders like the figure 4. Use the ladder to guide me to the creation of the actionable problem statement. And the next step is educate. In that step, I give the statement of my point of view first, and then my classmates review my statement and give me a lot of shining suggestion on my project. Okay, the next step is the most important step is prototype. So first, I design a prototype like in the figure 5, and then simulate that with two pharmacists. I will guide them to experience the solution, and this prototype is based on the insight and the need review in the step 1 and step 2. And the second technique I choose is user-driven prototype. Let the pharmacists to design their own application layout. So first, I let them to write down the function they want to see in the application, and then provide a blank paper, just the design. The last step is text. In that steps, I got my next prototype. So first, here is the in-class brainstorm. My classmates to give me some suggestions, and then I design my last prototype in figure 6. And the next step is to build a feedback capture max, and show that to the pharmacist, discuss with them, and get the feedback from them. Okay, let's jump to R to see what I got now. One minute. 1 second. Oh no. Oh, I need to share the whole screen. I'm not sure whether you can see the app if I only share the window. Okay, there we go. That is the R script. And let's run the app. Okay, from here, I'm not sure whether you remember that in the last prototype, the whole layout are up and down designing. But for here, when I write the R code, I find the theme could let the tab panel to guide us to different page. So I use that theme to change the layout of the application. And for the main page is personal calendar. So for here, you can choose your name, and the calendar will show you your duty. So at the beginning, I mentioned that someone suggests me use the color to figure out the duty. But in this case, there are too many duties. So if I define each duty a color, it will be in a math. So that is the final things I got. I only use two colors and to distinguish whether off or on the duty. And I also add a table to detail all the things there. Okay, let's move to the second page. That is the checking page. We got two filters here: the duty with the drop-down list. All the options are here, and then I also replace the specific date with a date range, so that could give more option to the user. Okay, so that's it. That's what we can see here. All the details are there. And the third page is the notice. It will published by the manager. Okay, that is the application I got there. And let's back to the slide. Okay, great. Okay, we can move to the alternative approach. Although I have completed the basic function required by the pharmacist, it's obvious that there are many other functions can be added to make the application looks more better. So the one-step solution, I think, is to write a mobile app in the Java to let the user could use like a work application contain all the work calendar, the salary information to contain all the things, all the work things in one application. But in my project, our Shiny still earn a credit in this case. It can do everything. In summary, I designed an interactive application to release the pharmacist from the paper file to an interactive dashboard. So first, they could change their own shift by the work calendar and also could check others with a filter and see detail in the output table. And third, we can let manager to publish more things in the application. So in the future work, there are other things could be added into this application. So first, is the changing, because for now the application only can check the shift they want to change. If the application could let them to change the shift to have the change function, that will be more convenient than now. And second, if the application could generate the work schedule automatically, that will total release manager from the schedule related work. Yeah. Okay, that is all the things I got from this application. Thank you for your time.